Hello students, so last time we left with our smoke and fire. This time we're going to move on to level design. This level is amazing, you can see all those lights and clouds and everything. It's really great, but now we have to design something ourselves. So we're going to start kind of from scratch, not exactly. Because why starting from scratch if you can build in previous work? So let's go to our level, and then in the outliner, we're going to go ahead and connect a specific and copy a specific file. So I'm going to shrink all of those until I find my render effects. Render effects has the environment, camera, light, and those important things that you don't have to recreate every single time. As soon as you have it created for your level, you can reuse it for the other levels, unless the level environment is changing to something else and you might have to play with those again. So I will go to the render file. I will select all of those, hold shift button on your keyboard, select the last one, and then control C, and that will copy them. Alright, so now we're going to create a new level. So on your content browser, go to our code, maps, and let's make level 2. So right click, and then I will go to level, and then I will call this level 2. Just simply like that. And congratulations, we created a new level. So double click on it, and then I will save everything on this level because apparently it didn't. Right? And now, as you all can see, this level is dark and empty. There is nothing in it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to post the things we copied. So click on the outliner again, then click on Control V, and there you go. Now you have lights, you have a background, and you have a nice blue color. I don't know to tell you what I just said. So we're going to start designing our level fresh from scratch, no element, nothing on it. All right. So let's go to the content drawer, and this file y'all are supposed to have access to. If you go to content, this time, if you go to the teachers marketplace, and you go to, so if you went to the maps, there is like few maps with stuff, but it's not where we need to go. We need to go to asset, teacher marketplace, asset, and then we are going to go to environments. And then you have the clouds, foliage, and island. So we're going to start with the island, and then you're going to go to island mesh, and you will notice you have different size islands, large, medium, and small. I'm going to drag the large as my first island. I will drop it here. Oh, let's see. It's a little below my bottom, so I'm going to just lift it up slightly, just like that. So that's my main island, or let's say the island I'm going to start at. And then I'm going to move, let's say to here. And then I'm going to add a medium-sized island. Let's make the medium-sized island our final island. I'm going to put it here, not too far, so it's still visible. And then I'm going to add my small-size island. Just honestly, not too small. Let's take this island and drag it and drop it here. As you all can see now, the islands are pretty bare. Like there is nothing in them. They need some character, they need some life. So that's what we're going to do too. So I just place them like this. You can place them however you want. So I go back to content drawer. I will go to foliage this time. So environment, foliage, mesh, and you're gonna see all those grass, flowers, and stuff. And you can drag them, place them randomly. Grass here, grass there. And then you can add flowers. So such a big island, what I would recommend doing is adding like rocks, and next to the rock adding the stuff like that. I am not gonna spend too much time on it right now. I just wanted to show you where to find those things. So those are the full foliage, and then you can add clouds in the sky by going to mesh and or find your clouds. And then you can also go back to asset. You have shades, and then have material. Well, never mind, we don't need to go there. Sorry, asset, you have architects, and then you have the walls and platforms and stuff like that. Like these are the roofs, different kind of roof, and if you want to build a house or something. And you can also go to back to asset. You have the character. This is basically our character, like if you decided to use it as a prop, but I don't think you would need to. Just wanted to show you where you can find all of these props. You have power up, puzzles button, collectibles. Then you can see we have the coin here. So all the stuff that are being used in the actual game are here. SFX, which is the sound, VFX, which is the light ray, emit, clouds, dependencies. Like if you want to add those different, like the wind effect, like for example, let's see here. And then if we looked at it, you're going to notice it. It's going to look like a wind blowing and stuff like that. So all those are here. You will have enough time to play with them in class. So go ahead and do that. I can do all of those things. All right. So that being said, we need to do the other part. Oh, by the way, this is how you do a rock. I'm going to take a small island. I'm going to put it up here. And then what they do is they basically rotate it upside down. I pressed E on my keyboard. And then they rotate them upside down 180 degrees. Pressing W again. And they bury them like this. And voila, you have now you have a rock on your island that looks like a normal rock that you saw on the other levels. And you also can use this one if you just want the bottom part without the top part. And this one is brown, it's not as the rest of those gray. So we're gonna call this island our starting island. Our goal is to get to this final island, so I will have to go from here to here and then to my final island, which will be the end point from now. And you can also copy stuff from the previous level, just like we copied the light. If you want to copy the structures, the buildings, because they are already looking nice, feel free to do so. All right, so now let's say we want to build a new challenge. I will teach you how to sculpture and build a sculpture in this game. So if you go to this menu and you go to, you go to the add. See here the part where I forgot. Landscaping. No, not landscaping, sorry. Yeah, go here and then go to modeling. That's what we need to do. It will open this model page. And we can start by building a rock. Let's say I want to build rocks that you can jump on and they move. And you have basically to jump on them to get you to the other side. So to build a rock, we can start with a box. I'm just gonna select the box and then place it somewhere on my map so I can see it. And then I'm gonna make it a little bit elongated, so I will change the depth to 200 maybe. Let's see how that will look like. Now let's make it 300. Okay, that's more like it. And then the faces. Let's change the faces to 15. 15. So what these, and then call this per face, how many subdivision per face. It's basically going to break your square into multiple small square, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this don't represent the real number, but it will break this face into 15 different squares, which will give you more chances to model it better. And if 15 wasn't a good number, we can increase it. And then after you finish these, you can hit accept. And then we're gonna deform the square so it doesn't look very square, because we want the rock, you know how they are irregular. We want to do that. So I will pick my deform tool and then I will select dynamic sculpt, and I will go ahead and change the brush type to normal sculpt. And then hold shift on your keyboard and just start moving a little bit. As you all can see, I'm softening some of those edges. If you hold shift, it gets the edges in. Without shift, it gets the edges out. So you can do so and so. Like, just make sure it's irregular enough, not super obviously a square anymore, or I guess a rectangle in my case. So I think this is good enough for me. It's not the perfect rock I have ever seen in my life being a geologist, but I would call this good enough. And if you even want to be extra, you can go and do the bottom as well. Alright, so I would call this good enough for me. Actually, let's fix something. Let's make the top a little more even. It would be helpful whenever we try to use this as a platform, if the top is even. Alright, I think that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. After you are satisfied with how your somewhat rock look like, you can hit accept, and that will make it. Alright, so as of now, this is how my rock look like, and I can hit play button to test. See, as you can see, I can go through it because there is no collision on it, but you can see it. It's a small rock, so we're going to work a little bit with it. Alright, so I'm gonna exit. Oh, and by the way, there is two things I want to show you. First, right click and then type player, and you can say player start, and then this is the space or the place this player will spawn when you are playing your game. So I'm gonna make player spawn. Let's make him spawn next to this big rock right here. That's where they will start. And the other thing that I told you I'm gonna teach you and I didn't is how to create the bookmark, because right now if you try to press any button on your keyboard, the numbers, it's not gonna transfer the camera to anywhere. To make a bookmark, hold control and the number you want to use. So this place will be control 1, and that will be my first bookmark. As you can see, it marked it here. So now if I went far away and pressed 1, it will take me back to where I am. And another reminder, we're right now working on current camera location, but if you want your player to start from here, you're going to have to do default player start. Alright, so let's get back to our rock, our amazing looking rock. I will select it, right click, and then I will go to browse to asset, and it will show me where the rock is saved. As you can see, it's saved and generated. I will right click on it and I will rename it. Let's draw 1, because we might have more rocks, who knows. Okay, and now let's make this rock a good rock that is rotating. So to make stuff move, you have two ways. You can use the scene or you can use blueprint. Blueprint are cleaner because you don't have to do the guesswork. If you don't have a weird movement and you're trying to do a very subtle, simple movement, blueprints are the best way to go. So I will go to hour of code, blueprint. I will create a new blueprint. It will be an actor, and I will name it rock blueprint underscore BP underscore BP. Oh, BP underscore rocks. So made it. I will double click on it. I will open my blueprint. So what I'm going to do is I will take this tab, drag it and drop it next to my map, so I have an easy access to switch between them. So in my blueprint, I will add a new static mesh, and I will name it rock 1. And then I will go to the static mesh here and I will look for my rock. Alright, rock, and there you go, rock 1. And there is my rock. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to create something like a Ferris wheel, yeah. So the rocks, I want them to go in a circular motion like this. So I want to add like about 4 rocks, let's say. So to do that, let's go ahead and replace the position of this rock. So let's change the Z position for it to 600. And that will put it up high, up here, away from my center point. And then we want to make it into a nice, what would we call it, circle. So I will select the shape and I will do Control D to duplicate it, and that will make my second rock. I will drag it away, Control D, I'll drag it away, Control D again, and drag it away. And I have a total of 4 rocks right now. So I would select my second rock, which is this one, second rock. And the first rock was 600. Let's put the second rock at negative 600. And then this rock will go to 0. Nope, that's negative 600 for the second rock. Third rock, we're gonna put the z-axis to 0 and the y-axis to 600. And that will push it to the side. And the last one, again, the z-axis to 0, and this one will be negative 600. So now if I moved back to show you the whole frame, you can see we have a total of 4 islands that looks nice, and they are nice, they call them like circular shape. Now let's add the circular animation, which is a rotation. So right, rotation, or rotating movement, and it will be this one. And you can select the rotation. So we want it to rotate on the y-axis, or actually not on the y-axis, on the x-axis. The x-axis is the axis that is right now going into the screen and out of the screen. So we want those to be rotating along it. So it will be doing this. So I'm going to change the z rotation to 0. And then I will change the x rotation. Let's start with 20, a small number. Let's see how that feels. And then rotation in local space. Whether rotation is applied in local or world space. Let's make it false for now. Let's see what that does, because I don't remember. All right, and then we will compile and save. So back here in our level, we want those rocks to move us from here up to this island. Let's see if they would fit. Let's drag it and drop it. All right. So as of now, I'm seeing 2 problems. One, my rocks are too small that it would be hard to jump from one to the other. The other problem I'm seeing is, actually I don't see it right now, but I know it, which we're gonna see it in a second. Let's go here and play. Yeah, as you all can see, the rocks are spinning. And then if I try to jump on it, I fall through it because we don't have a collision. And I keep falling forever and ever and ever. So let's fix that too. Press 1 to take me back to my starting point. Alright, so first, while we're here, let's fix the problem of falling forever and ever and ever. We're going to go to world setting. And then we're going to activate the Z-kill. Let's make it negative 5,000 this time. And yeah. I think that should be enough to make it where we don't fall forever. The next thing is we need to add a collider to these. So go back to our friend, the original, right click on it, and I will go to edit rock, and that will open the rock window. And then I will go to collision, and I will add this one, add 26 dope simplified collision. And that will be the best collision I would have for this shape. As you can see, we want the top to be flat, so it's easier for our players to stand on it. And this will give me that. And I will save my shape. And that's pretty much it. So now let's go back to the game. And we fixed the first problem, the collision problem. Now we are going to talk about the second problem. Yep, see? The second problem is how small those rocks are. What if I want the rocks to be bigger and I don't want them to be this small? You can scale them. The first instant people would want to do is just to click on the shape and hit double R and then stretch it. The problem with this method is if you added a material on top of it, the material will get stretched too, so it's not going to look good. And it's something you're going to face a lot when you're working with this. So we want to avoid that by making sure we scale it the right way. So to scale it the right way, we're going to go back to our modeling tool, and we're going to go to Xform. Actually, I lied. We're not going to go into the Xform. We're going to go to the one that I cannot remember which one it was, but it was related to scaling. Is it model? No, mesh. It was not mesh. Which one was it? Alright, I totally did not go back to the documentation and I figured it out myself. You go to Bake Transform after you select your shape. And now you can change the dimension of your object by changing the dimension of your object. So in details, I'm going to actually, never mind. This is how you do it. You select your shape first and then you change the scale. Let's see what would 3 look like. 3 and 3. Okay. 3 is actually... maybe 3 is too big. Yeah, 3 is too big. Let's change it. If you use the lock, you only need to change one and the rest will automatically change as well. 2.5. I like 2.5. It's big enough, but not too big. Alright, let's try 2.5. Alright, and after you change the scale, you go to the Bake Transformation and you accept. And that, now you can see back here, the scale went back to 111 because it baked the transformation to it, treating it like you did not scale it. And now if you look here, all of those also became giant. But before we did that, only this one changed. But when you do the bake, it put it in the static mesh file itself. Alright, so now these beauty are looking like that. We need to move the island slightly to the side so it's not overlapping too much. And let's test it. As you all can see, this thingy is also rotating within itself, so you can't just stand and hitch a ride. You have to be moving the whole time. Yeah, that's nice. It is doing what expected from it to do. And ZKill works too. Alright, so we finished our first obstacle, and you can, it doesn't have to be just rotating up and down. You can, play with the rotation however you want. Figure out your style. Alright. Now let's add a different kind of obstacle that will take us from this island to the final island. Alright, so this next obstacle is going to be, let's do a blade. So we need a center point as our pivot point and then we need the blades. So to make that one, let's use a sphere. I'll just select a sphere. I love the size. I'm just going to leave it as is. And I will actually now. Go ahead and change the division back to 1. We don't want it to be too big. Never mind, it's a sphere. It has to be 16 because it's you want a ball, you don't want a square. Alright, and then accept. We have our sphere. Now we want to cut it in half because we don't want it to be a ball. We want it just to be half a sphere. And that will just teach you how to do that. And to do that, you will go to Model and you will go to Plane Cut and you will go to Advance and you will flip it. Oh no, you don't go to Advance, you go to Action, Flip Plane. Then now it flipped, so this will be up instead of down. Then you can cut. Then accept. And as you can see, we have half a circle. Perfect. Now let's add the blades to the fan. To add a blade, let's create them using a box. This is too boxy. Let's change the width and height. Let's make the height to 10. Perfect. That is better. And then the faces, since we are trying to make a blade, 1 will be better than 15. And y'all can see why in a minute. Because if you did 15, this wouldn't work. Alright, so this looks like a fan blade, but not really, because fan blade thin on one side and thick on the other. So let's do that. We will go to Deform, and we will select the lattice Deform, and that will show us these red points. And I will drag my mouse and select all the ones on this side, hold Shift, select the ones on the other side. And then you can use this cube to drag it closer, and you can see how this side is thinner, that side is thicker. You can now go to this side, select those, go to this side, select those, and make those bigger. And you can see how our fan look more like a fan now. Isn't that cool? Alright, so the fan will be easier to control if this pivot point was at the tip here, down here. So we will go to X form, we will go to Edit Pivot, and I will just drag it all the way down here, and I will accept. So now I can drag my fan from that side, and I can easily put it with my like that, 2 to 2. See, perfect. I have one blade. It's totally centered, absolutely perfectly centered. All right, so that's my first blade. Now I need to make more blades. You would think, can I just make a copy and do it? Yes, you can, but what if I told you you can hit patterns and make it work for you? So when you click on patterns, it's gonna make a million ones because it's a pattern. We want to do a circular pattern. Look, it's already looking so good. How many blades do we need? Like 4 maybe? Let's see, 4 blades. We don't want them to be that far. We want them to be closer, so we can get them about 8 closer. That looks good. And yeah, I mean, I love it already, so I'm gonna accept. Alright, so my next and final issue, that these two are 2 different shapes. I'm just gonna, and y'all are gonna notice something, that these fans, if I move them slightly, you're gonna see, hey, there is a fan sneaking in here. This is the one we started with. We can just select it and press delete to delete it because we don't need it anymore. Move this back. Let's see if I can center this better. I think that is centered enough. Yeah. Alright, now we need to make those two, this shape, the fan shape and the circle shape, as one object. So I will select the circle, shift, select the fan shape, and then make them to one object by going and merging them. Press merge, and that will merge them, and then press OK. Perfect. Now it's one solid object. Let's right click on it, browse asset. Let's rename it to, I will let you guess, fan. All right, so let's look at the size of this fan. I'm gonna actually bookmark this area by pressing Ctrl 2. So now I can just go to it. Hey, it's a teeny tiny fan, and as y'all can see, I can go through it, so we need to fix that. All right, so how do we fix it? Right click on it, edit fan. And we're gonna go to collision. We're gonna do a simplified collision. And as you can see, this time the collision is not very good because we have these gaps, but it closed the gaps on us, and we don't want that. We want the player to be able to fall through these gaps. So let's go ahead and delete, remove the collision. All right. So let's try the collision D on the Z axis. No. What about the y-axis? Not better. What about the x-axis? Even worse. So let's remove them all. So what do we do when we can't get our collision to collision very well? We can go to auto convex collision, and then here it will, on the right side, it will tell you the hole count, the maximum verts, and the precision. Let's keep it as default and hit apply. And as y'all can see now, it's much better. We have a gap. Yes, it's not perfect here, and yes, it's not perfect here. Just keep in mind, the more precise your collider is, the more processing power you will need to make the things happen. Like, I can change this from 4 to that and apply it, and y'all can see now it got a little bit better. Maybe the hole can be like 14, precision could be 5,000. And you're gonna see like it takes longer now to process it, which make absolute sense. And now you can see, hey, it's even perfect, but you don't need it to be that precise. You always want to give your player leeway. You want them to make mistake and not get punished for those mistakes. Oh, I'm surprised actually that this has worked. Let's see, 8,000. I don't even remember what it was. Let's go to Fallout. It was 10,000. So I guess 13,000 does it. Let's see. After with the count of 10. I guess the halt was more. Perfect. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm not going to complain. And then save. And then back to my player, save. Now if I went here, as y'all can see, I can step on it. and I can fall on the side. Can fall on the side. It's not even like very noticeable. Yes, it looks weird here, but you can, I mean, it's totally up to you. All right, so let's go ahead and make the fan spin now. Okay, so with this 2 to get me back to the fan, let's create a blueprint for the fan. So back to our of code blueprint, new blueprint actor. Let's call this BP underscore fan. In the same way we did the other one, I will first add a static mesh, and I will name this static mesh fan. And I will go to the static mesh and I will type fan. And there you go. My fan is here. And then let's go ahead and add our rotation. Add rotating movement. And we want the fan to spin this way. So we want it to spin along what axis? Think about it for a second. The z-axis. So 180 degrees, kind of too fast. So we want to slow it down a little bit. Let's do 60 maybe. And then compile and save. Now we don't really need this original one. I'm just gonna keep it on the side for a second because we might need it. Content, fan. Okay. And we know the fans are a little small, so I'm gonna just scale them up. I'm hitting R, and then I will just skip the whole thing. Then W, move it out of the way. Right, and then Alt and drag to make a copy of it. Just go to Alt and drag to make a copy of it. Let's see, let's move this way. Then maybe use yay and yay. I think that will do. Alright, number 2, I'm gonna start from here. And let's see. Well, they are spinning well, but the problem is too high, I can't reach it. Right, let's get it lower. Can I actually even jump to it? Maybe, if I drag it a little bit. I think that's better. Yeah. That's the thing about not being able to see things correctly fast. I think that will do. Okay, 2, let's go ahead and play. And okay, this is making me dizzy. Alright, but yeah, y'all get the idea, right? So then you can make it to the other side, like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and you made it to the final destination. And that's level design for you. So you have different obstacles that do different things. So other things you're gonna add checkpoints. But then if you will have the flying stuff, so you can use all those blueprints that we created previously from the other lesson in this lesson. Like the end goal, you can use it, you can use the coin, you can use all the different boosts. So you can make a combination where you need to get your jump boost and jump here and jump here and jump here in time before the obstacle disappear or something happen. So go ahead, play around with it, and next lesson will be me teaching you how to add color and stuff to those things, material basically, so they look nice and they don't just look bare like that. Thank you all for watching.